I remember my first brand deal, and it was actually with a brand that I worked with previously, and they weren't paying me as much. But at that time, I was like, yeah, this is the money. My management being able to kind of go back and forth with the brand and kind of demand what they think that I'm worth, because obviously when you're in the industry at the time I didn't really know what I was worth or what I can ask for. When we got the contract and we agreed how much it was a 5-figure payment. Sometimes your body is tired and I can't give to my children, I can't give to my family, I can't stay up and do that work, I can't even have the strength to have that full content creation day if I'm tired. And I know myself, if I stay in this house and I don't have, like, let's say it's a month and I haven't had any time for myself or any time to catch up with friends or anything, for my mental health, I feel like I become emotional, I become very sad, I've become very, not even sad, just very heavy. Like, and I know sometimes say there's no help, you have to try and create your village. You have to, good. By force. There's always things that need to be done as a mum. Not even just as a mum. There's genuinely always things that need to be done. Sometimes it's like, just pause for a second.
That's good.
What do I need? I need time out.
Yeah.
I need to sleep. I need to just come out of the house. I need to just be away for the weekend. Sometimes we need to put ourselves first.
Not Another Money podcast. Why is it called Not Another Money podcast, you may be wondering? It's because this is not your typical money show. Get ready for real money conversations and lessons, expert insights from some of our very special guests, and hear some really inspiring stories from everyday people. On this podcast, you're going to learn how to earn more, how to spend less, how to grow the difference, and most importantly, live your best financial life. Hey Des, welcome to Not Another Money podcast. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Tony. I'm so excited to be here.
No, I'm excited to finally get you in the
finally,
scene. It's been a journey to get here, but we're here, and I'm so excited for today's conversation.
Me too.
But before we start the conversation and dive into all the deep stuff, first of all, tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
You know, when you get these questions, you never know, like, what part of my life do you want to know? So I'm a full-time content creator. Yes. I'm a mum of 2. I have a big family.
Yeah.
I have an identical twin sister. I like sweet things, and
that's a bit about you.
Yeah.
And when you say full-time content creator, what does that look like?
So now my full-time job is content creating, but it's very flexible, so I wouldn't really say the work behind it is full-time, but it's more like part-time. So
what kind of content do you do?
So I do motherhood content, share things about like motherhood, my children, affordable fashion. I've always been like an affordable fashion babe. Like, I do like my nice things, but I will always want to find a deal or a bargain, and lifestyle, and just everything that I like. A bit of beauty, a little bit of travel here and there as well. Yeah,
and I absolutely love your content.
Thank you,
I love everything you share, and I spend a lot of money because of you. But we'll talk about that a bit more in the conversation. But before we dive into all of that good stuff in terms of being a full-time content creator, what that looks like, and advice to anybody wanting to get into it and so on, what I like to do at the start of the show is play a little bit of an icebreaker with my games, with my guests, and it's a game of Would You Rather, the money edition.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you some scenarios, and I'm going to ask you whether you would rather A or B, and then you just have to pick one.
Money scenarios. Okay.
Yes, and you're not allowed to change your mind.
Okay,
ready?
Yes.
Great. So the first one we've got is, would you rather have the ability to see everyone's financial situation at a glance, or the power to erase one financial mistake from your past?
Oh, I don't want to see everyone's business.
Yeah.
Because I think once you see everyone else's business, like, it's just going to mess up your mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you start to compare, you start to like, so this number 2, B, is erasing
your one financial mistake from your past.
One financial. Do you want me to share that?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Jumping ahead of the conversation.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. No. So so you'd rather erase one of your financial mistakes from the past. I think for me, I'm nosy, and I'd want to know what's going on in everybody else's pocket. I think so. Yeah, I think I'm inquisitive. Yeah, like that. And I think also in terms of career-wise in the workplace, it would be good to know how much people are earning and stuff like that. So that would be good to see how much is going into my peers' accounts, and I know if I'm being paid correctly and stuff. So.
But that could also cause a problem as well. But anyway, but I understand why. I get why.
Okay, cool. So the second one, would you rather live paycheck to paycheck while doing what you love, or have a guaranteed high income doing something you do not enjoy?
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think before I had my if this was before I had my kids and before I am where I am at now, I probably would have said be money and just hating what I'm doing. But I think after having kids and after you kind of priorities change and like life changes and you just realize that there's so much more to life. Money is good money, but then you just realize there's so much more to life, and then the things that you go through, you kind of realize actually I would prefer to just not get that, like living paycheck to paycheck, but
enjoying
happy
your
and
life.
content.
I heard that. I think I would go with that too, because there's nothing worse than doing a job you hate all the time.
Every day.
You're just dreading Mondays because it's like, got to go back there again. So and I think I would go with A as well. As much as I don't like the idea of living paycheck to paycheck, and I advise against it. However, the fact that you do get to do what you love, I think, I'll go with that. Okay, so next one. Would you rather travel anywhere in the world for free, but only stay in hostels, or live luxuriously in one city forever?
That is such a hard question. That's so hard to live in hostels.
Really?
I would. Because if you think about it, in life, our days, 24 hours in our day, how long do we actually sleep and how long are we in one place?
Oh, that's good.
That's the only, like most of the time you're awake doing things, you're out and about. I would prefer to be out and about exploring. And even if I can't come back to a nice hotel, at least I can go somewhere nice during the day and then just come back and sleep and then...
but the thought of coming home and that's what you're coming home to every day. Ooh. But like you said, it's a balance, forever, right? Like, exactly.
I'd have to explore.
See the world,
It doesn't have to be everywhere in the whole world, but I would love to explore.
And it doesn't have to be the worst hostel. I guess there are some hostels that are habitable, right?
And I'll just add my little flower.
Make it as good as you can, right? Okay, fine, I'll go with that too. The next one is, would you rather win a £1 million lottery, but you'll be required to donate half of it, or earn 500k from your own hard work and you get to keep it all?
500.
Yeah.
Also because I heard apparently there's a big tax on
true.
Win. So I feel like they even take a big cut anyway. So but then I would just like to just win money, not have to do anything. Right.
And to be honest, looking at the maths, if I go with one and let's say I didn't have to pay any taxes or anything on it, that 1 million, half of it is 500k anyway. So I get to help other people, plus I get 500k for myself. So I think I would go with A.
I feel like I would go for A, because if I want to live soft life, just give me the money. I don't have to do anything to earn the 500k. So take the tax, but as long as I get some money for not having to do anything and just being able to give. Being able to give is always rewarding.
Exactly.
Definitely A.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Final answer?
Final answer.
Well, you're not allowed to change your mind anyway, so that's fine.
Final answer.
Okay, so the last one I've got here is, would you rather have a job you can do anywhere in the world, but you can never make over £80,000 a year? She said,
any job. Wow, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Or a high-paying job that requires you to stay in one location forever?
80k.
Yeah.
I will then, if I'm not satisfied with 80k, I will use the money from the 80k and invest in something else or create side hustle but I can't
be stuck in one location.
The kind of person that I am, there's some people like my husband, they like structure, they can stick to the same. You see me, I've even gone better. I'm better because there's so many times I'm like, I've got this idea, I want to do this, I want to change it, I can't stick to, I find it hard to stick to one thing, so I couldn't imagine just doing the same thing
forever. No,
definitely A.
So definitely A.
Definitely
okay, fine.
A.
All right, cool. We've come to the end of Would You Rather.
That was fun. That was fun.
Thanks for playing.
It's okay.
Okay, so the next segment that I like to do on this show is a segment called Not Another Money Moment. So this is Not Another Money podcast, of course, and I like to invite my guests to share a significant money moment from their lives. It could be from childhood, adulthood, a significant money memory that stands out to you and has had an impact on you in some kind of way in your life. So
I would say it's a positive one.
Yeah.
Does it have to be positive?
Of course, yeah. It's just a significant money moment that stands out to you.
So I would say when I first signed up with my management, this was in 2022. I think it was 2021, I think. And I went full-time 2022. But I remember my first contract that I had with them, or first brand deal, and it was actually with a brand that I worked with previously, and they weren't paying me as much. But at that time I was like, this is the money. And then I remember my my management being able to kind of go back and forth with the brand and kind of demand what they think that I'm worth. Because obviously when you're in the industry at that time, I didn't really know what I was worth or what I can ask for. And long story cut short, when we got the contract and we agreed how much it was a 5-figure payment from like my first ever 5-figure amount to just do one job.
Wow.
So that's something that has never ever happened in my life. I've never had
Wow.
that kind of payment before, and that's when I kind of realized, wow, like there's money in this industry, but I can also do something that I genuinely enjoy doing, and I can make good money from it. That was a huge moment for me because I felt really proud of myself.
Yes.
Because for a long time, I don't know if I'm going into it too much, but for a long time I just felt like I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like I said, because the kind of person I am, I like to change things, and I didn't really know if there was any specific career that I wanted to go into. So to be able to be starting something and doing something that I genuinely enjoy, and then just be able to receive like a huge, opportunity like that, it was huge for me. And I was so happy, I was so ecstatic, I couldn't believe it. And I felt really proud of myself for just going and pursuing what I enjoy and I'm passionate about.
No, that's amazing. And that's incredible to think that a brand that once paid you, I'm guessing it wasn't 5 figures initially for the first deal, right?
Yeah.
And they've come back and paid you 5 figures
Yes.
to do something that they'd paid you, maybe a
Before.
few hundreds or
Yeah.
low thousand to do is absolutely incredible. And I can see
was
why that's a big money
It
moment.
was, and I'll never forget that moment because it was like the first big moment, and it was the first brand partnership as well that I had once been with my agency.
Wow, that was the first deal.
That was the first, and I was just like, you guys are amazing. And then they were like, no, but your work is, it's you that we've been able to put in front of the brand.
Yes.
So that's why I felt some kind of like, I felt really proud of myself.
I can imagine. And I guess that must have sparked something in you in terms of seeing the value in yourself, right? Because it's the same exact product. I'm calling you a product, you're not a product, but as in the same thing that you place a small value on, somebody else has placed a bigger value on. And I guess that would have had an impact in terms of shifting your perception of yourself, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And the thing is, with like content creating, it's a lonely business in a sense. I'm working by myself for myself and doing everything for myself. I don't have anyone there really cheering. Obviously I've got my management and my team, but you don't have your colleagues and people there like cheering you on or things like that. It's kind of like you're doing whatever you think is best for you. You're creating content that you want to do. So to know that like that's kind of getting acknowledged and people are receiving it and they enjoy it and it's really good content that they see my value in the content that I'm creating. I just felt it was this really proud moment.
I can imagine
I'll never
that's
forget
big.
that.
That's huge. And we're going to talk about that a lot more in the show, but thank you for sharing that money moment because I can see why that stands out for you. Congratulations. Okay, so you've talked about it a little bit then in terms of the great amounts of money that you're able to now make as a content creator, but I want to go a bit back or further back in your journey and your journey to becoming a content creator, because I'm not sure actually, I'm not put words in your mouth, but initially when you had this idea of doing content creation, you maybe didn't foresee that it was going to lead to these 5-figure brand deals. Talk to us a little bit about the journey to becoming a content creator and what made you decide to embark on this journey.
So it's so strange because back then, years ago, I feel like I wasn't really on other platforms. I was kind of on Instagram here and there, but I was just watching like Patricia Bright, Jenny Jenkins and like some of those, and Nikki and Jamie and stuff like that. And I was just sharing mainly on Instagram, just like my outfits or things that I bought from Primark or things that I bought from here and just like affordable looks. And it was just genuinely just to share it because I enjoyed putting outfits together and my friends or people that I followed liked sharing. So I didn't have in my mind a clue, or I didn't intentionally want to become a content creator. So I was just doing that for the sake of doing it. And then it was when brands started reaching out and saying, can we send you this clothing? I was like, oh my gosh, you want to send me some? I remember the first, I can't even remember, it was like a small brand, maybe like Rebellious Fashion or something like that. And they were like, can we send you some clothes? I was like, me? Me? You want to send me some clothes? Because I was just like, this is just for fun.
Yeah.
And so when they sent me the clothes, and obviously I kind of had to take pictures or videos and basically repost it on my page. And I thought, okay, people are actually kind of liking this, but let me just continue doing it on the side. So in my head I just thought I was just going to still keep my job and I was just going to get clothes or like get free things. I didn't have in mind that this was going to be my job. And then I think towards when I was I pregnant with Joelle? I think I was pregnant with Joelle, with my first son, and by that time I was posting more, and I think I was receiving like gifted items, and I think I remember my first brand deal when I was like not doing anything was £50, but I was like,
wow.
yes!
For what? What was the content?
It was like a beauty, like something beauty.
What was the content that you had to make for that £50?
Oh, it was just a post, like a static post.
Static picture.
Yeah,
okay,
static
yeah.
picture. And I was like, oh my gosh, £50. Like, I can't believe like,
someone's paying me for something that I was doing for free.
Literally, because at that time I didn't know what was in how the industry was. I didn't know how much people were making. It was just like, wow, okay, I'll do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just not. It's like £50, cool. And then at that point, because people started liking it and brands started sending me, I actually started thinking maybe I should start actually posting weekly. So that's when I started kind of thinking, let me take one day a week, one Saturday. James will literally, my husband would come outside and take the pictures of me. We'll go inside, quickly change. He'll come outside, take the pictures, or in my hallway. And I just started posting a lot more. And then when more brands started to reach out to me, I was like, okay, this is actually a thing. And then during that time, I started seeing that people like were getting paid opportunities on Instagram. And I was like, oh, so people actually do this like full time. Even though I was following YouTubers, I was quite naive. I didn't know it was a thing. And then I was still doing it on the side whilst I was working, because I worked in education. So I had a lot of time for the holidays and stuff. So I used that time a lot more to create more content. Then eventually, after I had my firstborn and then I got pregnant with my secondborn, I was still creating content. It became harder after I had children. Most definitely became harder. But then when I was on maternity leave with my secondborn, I just decided, and at that point I was earning more than my salary. So that's when I was able to say, James, I don't want to go back to work. And even having those conversations.
I was going to say, what was that like?
Yeah, even having those conversations, I feel like because James always believed in me, although he was very annoyed with me a lot of the times because I was always spending money. Okay. I was always spending money on outfits, looks and things like that. So I feel like he supported me, although he would still at times complain. You always buy this, I have to take pictures. But now he won't even. Now he's the one that's
like, he takes the pictures.
You know, you've even been there telling me, like, come, let me take a video, you know. But yeah, so deciding to go into full time, it just made sense when I was starting to make more money from the industry. And also I already had conversations with my husband before I had kids, and I was like, I would like to be at home for the first few years after I had the children. So this has kind of worked out perfectly. And decided to go full time 2022, and it's just onwards and upwards from there, really. Yeah.
No, it's been an incredible journey watching you over the past few years. I think I jumped on your page at a point you had gone viral. I think your birthday or something.
Oh yeah, and sometimes, you know, it's the random videos that you just never think that it's gonna like go viral, but it was a random video that people really liked.
And that's the thing with the content creation, right? You never know which one it is gonna be that takes off, and it's the one you least expect.
I was just about to say, it's the one that the lighting is off. Yeah. It's the one that the sound is not clear.
My one is the one with the typo. I was just like, oh man.
How? You just like, and it's the other one that I want you to kind of look at. You don't want to look at. Yeah.
And then, it's amazing. It's been amazing to see your growth over the past few years. And I guess what I would like to know and speak to is people at the start of their journey, because obviously now you've been doing this for a few years and you've been able to achieve a lot of success, which we will talk about.
Yeah.
But what was it like in those early days when nobody was listening, or not as many people were listening and watching? Like what kept you motivated to keep creating content? So,
you know, even when you asked the question in the beginning about passionate, when you enjoy something, you just you kind of don't really measure it to anything. So like I said, I only kind of started looking at others and seeing what people were doing after I started seeing that this was actually like an industry. This was like a career. It was mainly from COVID times, I think it really became a thing. I think one of the main things is when you're passionate about something, and for me, finding like a hobby or something I'm passionate about helps me kind of get on with my day to day. I don't know, like I feel like with my work, while I was working before, I really enjoyed my full-time job, but I love fashion. I love looking put together. I love putting things together. I love experimenting with things. I love beauty. So because it's something that I really like to do, it was kind of easier for me to do that. I will say, of course, when I started getting contacted by brands or gifted things, it gave me more of a incentive, or like, you know, people are watching, people are engaging. When I would see that people are sharing my story, like my post to their story, I'm like, oh my gosh, people are sharing, or tagging me on like this Black woman's page or fashion page. I'm like, oh my gosh. So those kind of things also kind of gave me the motivation permission to do it. And I feel like back then there wasn't much pressure, there wasn't much comparison. It wasn't as competitive as it was now. So now there are times that it's hard. And I have to sometimes just either just close my eyes, not compare myself, and think, oh my gosh, your content's not like that, or you're not doing enough, or you don't have that much time because of the kids. Or like being a parent as well, you understand that, you know, sometimes when you have an idea, like you think, oh, I just want to shoot this, I can't do it right now because I actually have to put things in place to shoot that. Or let's say I want to do a series, I actually have to think about when I can shoot that content, whereas before I was free. You know, so it's all of those things as well that there's certain things I feel like I can't create, or I've got an idea and I haven't executed it in the time that I wanted. So trying to stay motivated now is remembering the reason why I started, because it was a passion of mine and I genuinely enjoy it, and also others are enjoying it. My followers, I've been able to build a community. I'm very like close to my followers. I talk to them day by day. I'm there in my DMs, and knowing that they always want advice, they always want tips, or they want to see my real life, what goes on in Desreen's life. I want to share that for them. So it's for me, but it's also for them as well.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you then is the motivation comes from the fact that it's not the money you're chasing, it's the impact on your audience, and it's a passion. So it's something that you want to do. So you're not creating it for other people, or you are creating for other people, as in you're not creating it because you think this is the thing to do, or this is the trendy thing to do. It's like, no, I'm passionate about these things, and I know other people are passionate about these things, so let me share that with them. So I guess the lesson for listeners is that find something that you're passionate about, that you would create content about, whether there's one person listening or 100,000 people listening, as opposed to trying to like chase a trend or chase what is popular.
And it's so good that you said that, because you'll see that there are so many content creators who follow trends, and trends will get you viral, trends will get you many followers, but that's just not what my content, who I'm kind of focusing on, or the content creating that I'm, it's generally what do I want to share, and what do I know that my followers like what they want it to be engaged with, what will help them. Like the series I just thought, what can I can share, festive looks, because maybe people don't have time to go out, let me show them. So it's always trying to think of what can I share for them, but also what do I enjoy as well.
I love
and
that.
then you're authentic as well.
Exactly.
I feel like,
No, definitely. And I think that is why you've achieved a lot of the reason why you've achieved the success you have, is because you are open with your community, and you're real and authentic with your community, and I think it comes across very easily in your content. Oh, it definitely does. Hopefully, like on your stories, it feels like I feel like I knew you before I knew you, because it's like on your stories you're always just talking to us like we're there with you in the room, and I think it comes across in your content, and that's why when you do make recommendations and things like that, people buy it, because they know that if Des says it's good, then it's really good. It's not just that XYZ brand has paid her to say this. So I think there's a lesson again there to be taken away in that, be authentic with your community and don't focus too much on chasing a bag. Like authenticity is important. So like you said, you talk to your community in the DMs. Like you've got how many thousands of followers? How many are you on now?
70,000. Still small, but
no,
you know,
that's not
but
small.
I know, but even James keeps saying I need to stop saying, because it's not small
at all.
So,
no, it's not small.
So I appreciate every one of those that follow me.
No, exactly. So you've got 70,000 that follow you, and you still have time to engage in your DMs. Some people don't have 5,000, and they don't respond to DMs, or it takes a long time for them to get back to you. And I think it's because genuinely sometimes there's not that connection. It's just like you don't see us as real people in terms of your followers. It's just these people,
so important to have that
exactly, and I think it's so important to keep that connection. So no, it's amazing. Talk to us a little bit about building your platform. I know it took a lot of intentionality and effort. So what kind of sacrifices would you say that you had to make to get to where you are now?
So I'll talk quickly about TikTok as well, because I am on TikTok and Instagram, but mainly on Instagram and YouTube. But that one we're getting there. YouTube. TikTok. Initially, I didn't even have any intention of really growing on there, but I just started sharing day in the lives, and I feel like, because I've got 38,000 on there, and I even think, how do I even have that many followers on there? But I just started sharing. That's when I had 2 under 2, and I wanted to share how it really is. Like the goods, because I think obviously you have 4 children, it's not easy. So I want to show both sides, that I really enjoy being their mum. I love having 2 children. However, there are the days and there are the moments that it's hard, and I really wanted to share that with the community, with my community, and also share that I'm still able to find time to do what I love to do. So with TikTok, I just posted day in lives, and I feel like that was how I grew the most on there for that one. Instagram, I definitely became more intentional when you see your community growing and you see that people are really enjoying the content you're creating. That was kind of like my motivation, as actually people are liking, let me keep creating for them. So I had to plan. So before, I was just creating content for the sake of it. Let me post here and there. But I had to become a little bit more intentional with what I was going to create. What are people liking? What are people engaging with? You know, I would set one day a week to create content. I remember when, either when Ruben or Joelle were months old, I would set one day, I think it was like a Wednesday, they would go to grandma's house for that day. And rather than resting, I would shoot content from the morning all the way until the evening. I would even pick them up like with my makeup and everything off on, because it was literally one day a week. I would shoot the whole day. I'd try and quickly eat lunch, and that's kind of how I was able to remain consistent and grow over time. So I didn't have the capacity to be able to record every day, and there was that frustration after having children, because I didn't have the same flexibility as before. I couldn't just be like, oh, I've got this content idea, let me shoot this. I couldn't do that with two small children.
What age were your children at this time?
So Ruben, I remember when I moved, Joelle was 18 months, Ruben was 3 months.
Wow.
But even before then, when I was pregnant and I had Joelle when he was like 15 months, 1 year, I just had to just
doing all of this with a
work,
newborn and a toddler, or a toddler and a pregnancy, and very early on in motherhood, she was doing all of that.
And then, like I also said, sometimes you have to pivot. So there was a time I knew, first of all, I didn't really feel comfortable sharing outfits. There was times I didn't feel comfortable. There was a time I just didn't have time to even browse and find outfits. So, but that time I could put the camera on and vlog my day, because that is how my day is. So I could share that. So that's when I realized, actually, people are liking this kind of content. So sometimes, depending on what's going on in your life, you kind of have to pivot as well. So I knew that I couldn't really do the kind of content that I was doing that I enjoyed as much. So let me just share a bit of what I can share. Is my day-to-day. That's all I can do at the moment, guys. I hope you like it. But that's all I can do at the moment. And then slowly, when I started feeling more confident about my body again, when I had a little bit more time, when I had the childcare, I was like, okay, now kind of set that time a week to kind of plan. So really planning around it is really important. You can't succeed in anything if you kind of just, let me just do this today and not do it tomorrow. You kind of have to really, really plan. Intentional,
and it just speaks to the fact that it is possible if you're intentional about doing it, right? Because if you look at your scenario on paper, a mother with a toddler, or a young baby, or what would you call him, a toddler at that time? Toddler, and heavily pregnant, or just about to give birth to a newborn. And you're shooting content
up until
doing all of what you're doing with such a young family. Like, it doesn't seem possible, but you were able to do it, right? Because you were intentional. You had a goal, you had a focus, and you're like, no, I fixed my mind on this, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna find a way. If it means I have to put my child in childcare, if it means I have to shoot late at night, edit while they're sleeping, you find a way to make it work when you're really passionate.
And I also think, because motherhood at times could be lonely, could feel lonely, and I feel like having a community, you feel like there's other people there. I don't know, it also, I feel like it did something. I feel like it helped during my postpartum. It might sound strange, but I do feel like creating content, like finding time, like, for example, all week I was like, my focus was my children and my family, but that one day where I could just do that content, and that one time I have to sit down and just reply to was a little bit of me time. I don't know, because it's doing something that I like, it makes me happy. I've still got my women messaging me, replying to my day in life. So this was me this morning. At 3 a.m. I'm awake breastfeeding, and someone else is awake. I'm like, who else is awake? And then they're in my messages like, we're also awake, so I feel like that was also good for me and my mental health during becoming a mum of 2 children, and that drastic transition. So it was also beneficial for me as well. Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you obviously alluded to it. Well, you didn't allude to it, but you mentioned at the beginning about your money moment and the fact that you was able to secure a 5-figure brand deal with your agency or management company quite early on into that management company relationship. And then I remember watching a YouTube video of yours not too long ago, and you mentioned the fact that in your first year going full-time as a content creator, you made 6 figures, which is absolutely incredible. Congratulations, by the way. Thank you. What do you think sets you apart from creators with large followings, right, that are not able to achieve the level of success you've been able to achieve with the same platform? Because not every content creator can boast those kind of numbers, right? So just because you see someone with a big platform and big following doesn't necessarily equate to the amount of money
Yeah,
they're
that's
generating from
true.
that platform. So what do you think
There's
it is?
definitely a few factors, so
Sure.
I'll point them out. So one, I would say authenticity, because when you have that authenticity, your engagement and people responding, that will be natural. You know, that there will be a lot of feedback, there'll be a lot of engagement. That's what brands like to see. So I definitely think being authentic in the content that you're already creating is really important, because it also means that when you do have those brand partnerships, or you're sharing what you like, or you're sharing what is good, people are likely to hear and, like you said, buy or click on that link.
Yeah.
And those are some of the things that matter. So being authentic and sharing, being open to things with your audience is key. Two, the second I would say is good quality content.
Okay.
So over time, you know, James will always complain and say, because I always try to improve the quality of my content. A lot of brands, let's say there's someone with 100k followers, and then you have someone with 20k followers, but the quality of the influencer who has less followers is a lot more clean, it's a lot more straight to the point, or the quality of the content is shareable. So most times brands like to reshare the content that you create. So let's say they put two influencers together and they look at your content, and they think, what can sit nicely on our brand's page? What can we reshare, and this could look really good on our platform? Because if it's not good enough, they're probably not likely to use that content, use the influencer, because they're not able to create good quality content that is worth the money that we're paying, and content that we can put money behind and boost on our own side. It's all of those kind of things as well. So good quality content. I would.
So when you say good quality content, what constitutes the good quality content? Is it getting a really good camera? Is that what people
No,
need to do?
even when I had those deals, big deals, I was using my iPhone. I was using my iPhone. I was using cameras, but I was also using. I feel like most of my good opportunities initially in the first in that first year was my iPhone, but I was able to obviously get a camera and start using more. So it's kind of just like, it's the way that you edit, it's making sure the camera's clean, like little small
Okay.
small things, making sure it's quick content, making sure there's natural light, good natural light, or if you're going to use lights, just making sure it looks clean.
Okay.
If you record,
When you say quick content, sorry, do you mean like lots of cutaways?
That's it. A lot of people like that now.
Okay.
I do a bit of both, because I like to stick to the content that I like, how I like to edit, but it's good to kind of always learn kind of what's and storytelling as well is really, really good, what people like to hear. So quality, engagement, like with your community, and also likable. Because if brands, a lot of the brands, when I would speak to my management, or my management would speak to the brands, or I would speak to the brands, they would say, we really like Desreen's personality. Like, we really like Desreen's personality. We really like the way she talks to the camera. We really like when she speaks, it's like she speaks to us. We really like how natural and how, like, she just seems so also like your personality as well. Yeah. And also
good.
kind of creating your own niche, not your own niche, but creating, like, for example, a lot of people say to me, I've shared your page with my friend. I've shared with my page with my friend who's had a kid. I've shared my friend who's looking for. So being very, your page or your brand's becoming very clear, like, what are you sharing? What can we come to you for? That also helps with brands as well.
Okay, so consistency is something that you, I think, have mastered. I don't know if you would agree, but I think you're very consistent in your content creation, and we can always rely on Desreen to show up.
I'll be there in the morning.
Yes, exactly. And that's something that is very important to do. And even Instagram, I actually had the opportunity to speak to them not too long ago, and they were talking about, in terms of ways that you can accelerate the growth of your page, and they said consistency is so important, and you've been able to master that, like I said. So how are you able to stay so consistent, especially when you juggle so many responsibilities? Like, how do you do it?
Do you know what, when I tell you, sometimes it's easy, sometimes I'm like, I set this day, and for example, now the kids are in childcare. That is a huge help, because before they were at home. So now the kids are in nursery 3 days a week. It gives me those 3 days to work. But still, even with that, you know, there's
something else that needs to be
there's
done.
something else that needs to be done in the house, in the home. There's so many things, appointments. There's so many things to do. But I've been able to stay consistent by sticking to a routine, because like I said, now it is what I love to do, but it is also my job, so I need to make time for it. I had to create a schedule that works for me. So even though the children are in nursery 3 days. I had to be realistic. I'm not going to shoot content those 3 days. I'm not, because one day is like a whole house, sorting out the house day. Another day is like going to pick up things at the boys, basically out of the house, running errands. So I have one day where I can shoot content. That's the day that I give myself, and that's very strict. So I had to be very strict on those days. As soon as the kids are dropped off, I go upstairs, and that's my day. I would already have on my notes, like, let's say during the week an idea comes to my head, or I've watched something on Instagram, like, oh, I would like this, I can do my own touch. I would already have notes to know what I'm creating, so I shoot content that day. Then I also have to think about the time that I'm editing, so because I edit everything, I do everything myself, so that's another thing. Editing is so long. Like, you know, we just look at that quick video, but it took
so long to put that 30-second reel together.
You know, with all the clips and things that you have to kind of put together, especially you see the day in the lives.
Oh, I can imagine.
The day in the lives is a lot, so I also need to find time for that. So finding creating a clear schedule that you follow every week has been good for me. So I know one day, and then so sometimes there are times that I didn't have time to finish editing. So it means one night or 2 nights, when the kids go to bed, I'm up late editing, or I'm up early editing in the morning before they wake up. So I have to put in the work. So there are times I am sticking to a schedule, and times are easier for me to edit quickly. It's easier, but there are sometimes the content, if it's like for a brand, or it's a lot more demanding. There are times I have to sacrifice my sleep. I have to wake up early. I have to stay up late. I have to say, I have to get my nanny to come, like my nanny to help look after for a couple of hours to try and get the work done. But knowing in your head that I always, like, if like Monday, I'm already thinking, what am I going to post on Monday? I'm always thinking from before, I've got to make sure I post 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week. That's a lot of content to post. So for me to have that content, I need to be shooting all the time. So if I didn't have content day, at least I could vlog 2 days a week. That's a vlog. Or even, and sometimes another thing I'll say quickly is there's content, you can create content out of anything. You can create content out of anything. If I'm just there making pasta, let me record myself making pasta. If I'm there cleaning up the living room, I can then. Do you know what I mean?
Everything is content.
Everything is actually,
Everything
especially
is
nowadays. And I think that's the good thing about it, especially like with TikTok and the kind of videos, lifestyle videos. Everything is content. You could just be making a cup of tea and have text and slow music in the background. So it's just about really being intentional about what can you share, and really planning what kind of content I could shoot, and sticking to a routine. Even if sometimes if it's midnight and I'm like, I don't have a video for tomorrow, I will stay up and I will edit something to make sure I've got to post, because they're expecting me. My followers are expecting me, so I don't want to let them down.
And how do you handle the weight of that responsibility?
I feel like now I'm used to it, because a part of me is that responsibility, because it is my work, and I do want to stay. Everyone wants to stay relevant. You do want to stay relevant. You don't want to be left behind. There are a lot of people doing what you're doing. So part of me is like, I want to stay relevant. I want to stay, I want people to still engage in my content, so I can't just disappear. They need to be seeing me, and the brands need to be seeing me.
True.
If they're not seeing me posting, how are they going to find me? Because most brands that reach out is because they say that they found me on Instagram. They see my videos on Instagram. That's how they find me. How are they going to find me if I'm not posting that content?
That's true,
So sometimes I'm like, I have to close my eyes and just edit this. I'm tired, but I need to edit. And then let's say next morning, that's the day that my son decides to wake up at 5 a.m. Do you know what? It is what it is.
You have to work with that 5 hours of sleep.
You just have to work with it. And then let's say the following day, I have a bit of time to myself. I will then nap. And I
love that. You take your naps in the middle of the day.
Solly, I don't play my naps. I do not play my naps, because sometimes your body is tired, and I can't give to my children, I can't give to my family, I can't stay up and do that work. I can't even have the strength to have that full content creation day if I'm tired. So if I need to nap, I need to nap.
No, it's true. And another thing that you do as well, which is off script, but I do love it, is that you are able to make time for yourself a lot, which a lot of mums don't allow themselves to do because of that mum guilt. How are you able to do that and do it with your chest?
Do you know what? I do it with my chest so high. I'm like, yes! Because I feel like, especially because I'm at home a lot of the time. So I'm mainly at home. I don't go into office or anything. I'm mainly at home. Sometimes you need to get out of that house. And I know myself, if I stay in this house and I don't have, like, let's say it's a month and I haven't had any time for myself or any time to catch up with friends or anything, for my mental health, I feel like I become emotional. I become very sad. I've become very, not even sad, just very heavy. Like, and obviously, like, I can pray. There's things that I do, you know, pray and just watch stuff. But there's times when you have to really feed yourself.
Yes.
And feeding yourself, yes, spiritually and physically and things like that. But there's times you actually have to do things that you enjoy.
Yes.
That just takes like you don't have to think about that for a moment, or you know, just to relax, just to let your hair down. So I definitely prioritize that. Some seasons are more than others. Like even when I saw Tolu, I was like, Tolu, you've been going out every night. I know. You know, but sometimes it's like that. And sometimes I'm like, do you know what? It's going to be like that because the next couple of months is not going to be like that.
And that's the thing. Yeah, January I'm in my house. I'm not going anywhere.
You're at home. You're at home and you don't have that flexibility. Or let's say you had that help for that period of time. So let me make use of it because there's other times I don't. Yeah. And then sometimes I find that when I do have that time, I come back and I'm like, okay, let me deal with the kids today. I could deal with the kids. I could deal with this. I could deal with the cooking. Yeah. But taking time out to kind of just like refresh and just get back on track
to recharge, right? You need to fill your cup.
Recharge. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's hard to find that time as mums. I know that it is, but and for example, for me, my family are not around to help as much as they would like to. My in-laws moved far. It's not as much, and I've had to be intentional to trying to find a way to make it happen. And I know sometimes there's no help. You have to try and create your village. You have to by force, because now we have a nanny that we absolutely love. She's been in our life for 2 years. If today I say, you know, we want to go out this evening, she's there. Oh. We'll take them, and obviously we don't use it all the time because obviously I want my kids to be at home. Yeah. But there's sometimes I'm like, I need you to
come and take these kids.
I need you to come and take these kids. I'm going to do my nails, and then I'm going to go do shopping, or I'm going to go literally just sit in a coffee shop by myself,
or eat Greg's in your car,
you know, and stay there and eat it hot and enjoy your hot chocolate, you know. So that is definitely needed, and I think it kind of gives me the energy to kind of get back to work. So it's definitely important to find some time.
And I think it's so important too. Yeah. And it's funny because when I talk to certain other mum friends, they're just like mortified sometimes at the things that I do, because they're like, you went on holiday without your kids. I'm like, yep, I did. And sometimes I had a great time.
Yeah. Because when you come back, you're going to come back to do the same thing, exactly. You know. It's just pausing everything just to think about you and just to put you first.
Yeah, it's important.
And I think as a mum, we're putting everything and everyone and everything. I was even speaking to someone. There's always things that need to be done as a mum. Not even just as a mum. There's genuinely always things that need to be done. Sometimes it's like, just pause for a second.
That's good.
What do I need? I need time out. Yeah. I need to sleep. I need to just come out of the house. I need to just be away for the weekend. Sometimes we need to put ourselves first. Sometimes we need it.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I think it's so necessary, because I feel like when you do that, your children and your family get a better version of you.
Absolutely, because they feel
They feel it. Of course they do. Like, especially Isaac, he feels it. My husband,
he feels it at the same time.
Spouse, he feels it the most. Yeah,
absolutely.
When you're not good, you're just. I see it just, and they're just like tiptoeing around you.
See that feeling in the house? Like there's something in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's sometimes because mummy needs a break.
Yeah, mummy needs a break, and it changes the mood.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
So I make that a priority.
No, it's good, and I'm glad you do that, and I'm glad that your audience get to see you doing that. So I know some mummy followers of yours, because of your example and influence, have been able to take that for themselves.
Someone messaged me yesterday, and she's like, Desreen, I've just booked a weekend by myself because I just love the way that you're finding time for yourself. And I said, I'm so happy for you, because she said she hasn't had that break since she's had her children, and they are 4 and 5. Wow. She hasn't had alone time in 5 years. Wow. That really broke my heart, but it also made me so happy that just me sharing one little thing, she's like, because of you, I booked that weekend. And I'm like, please, even if you have to stay in the hotel, because that's what I do sometimes. I'm like, I'm going to go. I stay in order room service, or I go in Deliveroo, Five Guys, and I'm sitting there, Netflix. Yeah. I don't hear nothing in the background. Yeah, there's no yelling in the back. You see the background noise.
The background noise. It's a lot.
The background noise. It's like...
It's constant. Like,
so when it's silence, you're like...
Wow. But you see me, I actually struggle with that. The silence.
Because you're so used to that.
Because I'm so used to the noise. So like even when... I remember when they went to Father's Retreat. So Isaac took like 3 of the boys. So I only had Did I have the baby? I must have had a baby,
You
yeah,
must have
because
the baby.
where else would it have been?
You must have the baby.
Yeah, and it was just so quiet in the house, and I just had to have the TV on and stuff because I was like, there's no noise. It's just too silent in this house. I'm not used to it.
So there's some moments it does feel like that. There
Yeah.
are some moments when I've left and I'm thinking about them a lot.
Yeah.
There are some days when I'm like, they didn't even they're in safe hands.
Oh yeah.
I'm not looking at no pictures. But there are sometimes when I am away and I am thinking about them and I'm looking at pictures. I'm like, oh, I miss them, but. You know, where mums are always going to have those. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So another thing I wanted to speak to you about or find out how you sit with it or, your views on it is to do with influencers and influencing and the impact that they have on people in terms of influencing people to spend money, right? No, not the shrugging of the shoulders.
Yeah, no, you see that, like, yeah.
Because it is an uncomfortable topic to unpack, right? But it's one that I thought, I mean, you're an influencer. We have to have these open conversations, right?
Yeah.
So where do you sit with it and how do you deal with the weight of responsibility that comes with influencing others, especially when it comes to like promoting consumerism?
So do you know what? For a long time, I was never really sharing links.
Really?
Yeah, for a very long time, I wasn't really. It was only if I had a lot of the same DMs and then I would share it.
Yeah. That
was usually the only time I would share things. Or when I'm like, guys, you need to go here because this place, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or I tried this, or I need to share this. That was mainly how I was sharing before. So I feel like it wasn't too much. It was fine. And I felt comfortable with it. I feel like my followers appreciated it. I still do the same now, but the influencer industry, nowadays, there are always links to things and sharing this, or you should try this, you should try that. And you know what? Even though it's a huge topic and people have their opinions about it, I love it. I love it because I have to have control. It's hard sometimes to have control though, because sometimes like I don't need it, but you have to have control. But I love it because there are things that I've used, found out about, places that I've went that I would not have known about if this influencer did not tell me to click this link or didn't share it in their story or didn't share it on their reel or didn't share it on TikTok. So I do love that now. Not most, I would say some creators do share those like authenticity of the things that they genuinely use that are genuinely good. You do get a lot that just share for the sake of it, just to share for the click links, just to get the insights and to make the commission. So I think it was only this year I signed up to Like to Know It. So I wasn't making a commission from that. And then Amazon, I feel like it was only end of last year. So I was just genuinely
sharing the links.
I was just sharing the links. I said, let me just share for everybody. Desreen. But then I realised, actually, maybe I should just get a little bit, you can get something out of it. I said, let me just sign up and do that. And there are influencers that will share, if it's the holiday season, here are gift ideas. Things like that are really helpful. There are some that will just share for the sake of making money. And, I just realised in every industry, there's always going to be not the goods and the bads, but there's always going to be the negative side of things and the positive side of things. But for me, I like to share what I genuinely use, what I genuinely share, what I like, what I know that my followers will like, and what will be good use of them. And but it's mainly people that ask me. That's from the back of here's the link, because a lot of people have asked me. And thank God, all of the brands that I've worked, there's never been one brand that I've worked with that I haven't agreed with. I've disliked, or I haven't had to say no to a brand. Thank God up to now. So whatever I'm sharing is genuinely like I actually use it, or I like it, or things like that. I try to stay true to myself and genuinely share what I use myself, or what I know that my followers would benefit from.
So I guess it goes back to what you were saying before about authenticity, right? Because it's not so much you're just telling people to buy products for the sake of spending their money. It's like, actually, this is a really good thing that I think you're going to enjoy and like.
Or I try things first. Like, even, for example, this nice little wig that I have, so many people have been asking. I said, wait, let me try out the hair first. And I'm so glad I did, because anyway, I'm really specific about hair, but there's certain things I don't like about it. And I don't want people to spend their money on it. I don't. As much as I like it, it's a lot of money, and I don't want people to... So I'm not just going to... So I'm quite... conscious of like what I share, because when it's people's money. That money could be in their savings, that could be their salary. I don't want people to just because I have it. I want you to do it. And you'll find a lot of the times when I always say, I don't know if you notice, I'm going to share a haul, I'm going to share what I bought, I'm going to share. I actually don't like
share
to.
A lot of times.
I don't, because I don't want to. This is what I like, this is what I bought for myself. If like today I'm wearing this and you specifically said you like this, I will share that. Unless there's like bargains and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I need to share it. But I don't like to share. Like, there's a lot of things that I bought even this year. I haven't shared hauls. I don't know if you realize I haven't really shared hauls on my YouTube. I haven't really shared hauls on my Instagram because I'm also aware of the time, things that are going on, other people's priorities. Me, it's I like it and I enjoy it, but it might not be someone else's priority. So there's so many things, for example, in my wardrobe that I have, and I'm like, I haven't even shared this. I'm like, but it's cool. I don't need to unless someone wants to. So they're just having a bit of a balance.
Okay.
Understanding that not everyone is like you, that likes the same things that you do. Not everyone's like in a situation that you are in. Some people want to focus on other things, and buying materialistic things is not their focus right now. So,
but then
yeah.
is that fair on ones that do want that stuff from you?
Yes, because you'll notice that I do it here and there.
Okay.
So I don't just not do hauls at all.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll do it for you
Yeah.
guys. I'll do it like here and there. I don't want it. For me, the kind of, like I said, the content creator that I am,
Yeah.
I won't be there every week showing hauls. Like there are lovely girls that I follow. I follow all of them. You see these girls that do the Zara hauls,
Yeah.
and they do like 3 a week, Mango hauls, this haul, H&M hauls. I follow them like religiously. But I will not be one of them because I don't want people to consume like that. Unless you genuinely like it. Like, unless there's a reason, like now, I will share shops in the season. I will share it. But sharing that constantly, it's not what I want.
Yeah.
It's just not what I want to do.
It kind of leads nicely into my next question, actually. It was about staying authentic, which sounds like it's very important to you.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it quite a few times, yeah? So how do you ensure that your content aligns with your values and avoid the pressures to sell out?
When I tell you, Tolu, it's hard. It's really hard sometimes because there are times, I'm not going to lie, there are times I've tried to do videos because I see that this influencer, these kind of influencers that are doing this, they're growing really quickly. That they're getting to 100k quickly, 200k, and I'm like, I'm still here. It's not moving. Maybe I should try and do content like that. There have been times I've tried. I've tried to be doing all of those videos all the time. Where to buy. But I'm like, I kind of had to think, is this me? Is this why my followers followed me anyway? This is not... And I don't want people just to follow me because I'm sharing those kind of stuff. I want to have a solid community of women, or not just women, because I do actually have a good percentage of men that follow me as well, yeah.
That's so random.
So it's so random. So I kind of want to... I don't want people to follow me for something that I'm not. So a lot of times I actually have to pull myself back and kind of think, come on, Desreen, come back, like... You can share bits of that because you do like it and I do like it, but who am I and what do I want? What am I sharing? You know, I kind of want to stay authentic and share what I've always been sharing. And there is growth of it. I'm not saying you can't change, because there are seasons when, like, I wasn't doing vlogs before. I wasn't doing these certain type of videos before, but now I am. So there is room for change. There is room for growth and things like that. But still sticking to your foundation of who you are is important for me. Because I want my community not just to be people that follow me because I had a viral video or they really like that specific video. I really want people to stay with me.
Come on a journey with you.
Yeah. And that's like the engagement. That's so like people engage with you and you have that community. And it's also, I want other mums that are like me sharing normal things that I like, things that I, you know, if they want to do this as well, you can do this, or this is how someone like me gets on with my weeks or gets on with my children, or you know, I still want to be relatable as well. I don't want to seem like I'm too up on my high horse that you can't relate to me. You know, there's a lot of things that I don't share because I don't know. I always kind of want to be what's that word?
I guess you said relatable.
Relatable and relatable. And I just feel like community means a lot for me on there. There are times the numbers do kind of make me, like, I'm not moving off of this number. We're all like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No matter what the number is, right?
No
It
matter
still
what it
happens,
is.
yeah.
And so I remember even saying that to my husband. I was like, I'm still on this number. And it was just after I did like my last Barclays ad. Yeah. And it was after that he was like, Desreen, you just had a great opportunity. Why are you... And I just realised no matter where you are, it can be seen as a positive because you're always wanting better. You are always wanting to do better. That's for me. I'm always wanting to do better. I'm always wanting to improve. But I have to kind of appreciate, like, value or like respect, kind of like, and appreciate where I am now as well, which I think is really important. And sometimes I think thinking that there are people that are 100 followers that, you know, you are higher than them, or, you know, kind of looking at yourself and kind of taking yourself back and thinking, actually, no, even though my community might not be like this, I have a community there.
Exactly.
Even though my engagement might not be like this, I am getting engagement.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of have to remind yourself, actually, we are somewhere, and not everyone starts there.
Exactly. No one starts there.
No one starts
unless you're
there.
a celebrity or something.
But it's hard. It's hard too sometimes when you're like, I just want to get there.
Yeah.
It's hard. But then I always remind myself is that not everyone starts there. It does. You have to work at it.
Of course, yeah. You appreciate it more when you work at it.
Yeah.
And it's also good to look back at how far you've come, because I'm sure when you started this platform 5 years ago or so, you never probably even envisioned that you'll be doing the campaign you did with Barclays recently.
No
So
at all.
you have to sometimes reflect on how far you've come to
Yeah.
appreciate how much you've achieved. And yes, as you said, obviously always look to the future and look for bigger and better, but definitely appreciate where you are so far in the journey as well, because you've done amazing things.
Thank you, Tony.
Going on to then, in fact, before I go into this next question, another question that I had that I was thinking about is in relation to your content. So you are your brand, right? So your business is built around Desreen and your family. How do you manage how much of your family you share online versus what you keep private to yourself? Like, how do you juggle
This
that?
is a good question, because I've actually had someone ask me this before. It's a really good question. And I think that's specifically why I've kept it as Desreen, because it's my page. You will sometimes see the kids in vlogs, but you'll mainly see me. And some families, you know, their whole content is around their family and it's based around their family. But I knew, one, that I just wouldn't be able to do that. It's just so much work. Secondly, I love my family and I'm passionate about sharing my family, but I want to keep some of my family to myself. Like, it's not, I don't want to involve them in a sense of, Joelle, Ruben, come and sit here. You have to shoot this today, because even, like, do you know what I mean?
Bills
like,
have to be paid.
You
Come
know what I
and
mean?
do this
like,
video.
come and sit here, like, or we haven't posted. You haven't been in my content this week. You need to be in the content next week. And I'm like, oh, get all. I didn't want that.
Okay.
I wanted to share the kids when I want to share the kids. So for me, it's like I said to you initially, that it's something that I enjoy. I like creating content. It doesn't mean like my husband likes to do or my kids like to do. And I never wanted to pressurize James to be there all the time or my kids to be in there all the time. I kind of wanted to still do something that I like to do and share bits of them, because they are so, like, they're part of my life. So I feel like I could not share that and share my journey of motherhood. And I feel that it's such an important subject to me, sharing like some parts of my motherhood journey, because before becoming a mum, I wasn't really that woman that was very maternal and that really wanted children. I was always like, you know, we're going to have children at some point, you know, we have to have kids, like, we've been married for this long. But the transition, like, after having my first child, like, how much I love being a mum, I was like, I need to share this, because I didn't think I would like this. I would love it so much. And I know there are probably other mums that are really nervous, maybe thinking, I don't see my life with children. Actually, they are a blessing and I love them so much. So yeah, just being able to balance it and just remember, actually, this is what I love to do and this is what I want to share. So parts, they'll be there sometimes, but sometimes you'll just see me.
Okay, so what would you say has been the most challenging part of your journey so far, and how were you able to overcome it?
What's the most challenging? I think having the kids.
Yeah.
I think having the kids, and before they started nursery, and like I said, trying to eventually finding a nanny to help and things like that, because the tiredness alone, having two small children, as they get older, I'm sure it gets a little bit easier, but there's other things that you've got to deal with. But having two small children, and then trying to be present, trying to be consistent, trying to share good content and not look tired, and like, really, that was, I think, the hardest, is going from like creating content by myself to now having two small children that, like, there's been so many times I'm shooting a video and one will just run upstairs. I'm like, there's actually no point now, because they know that I would try and sneak away, but then if they know I'm here, it's like, it's over. Like, there's actually no point. There's so many videos that I've started and I couldn't share.
Oh my god!
Because they've come in, and in the moment I'm like, go downstairs. They don't want to go downstairs, or dad's not available.
It becomes a game.
It becomes a game, and I'm just like, do you know what, scrap this, I can't do it. So I think the hardest has been the transition from now being a creator with having two small children, and because they're still so small, they depend on mummy now for most things. Now obviously they're not bottle fed or breastfed and things like that, but still the toddler stage.
No, I think every stage comes with its challenges.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely been the biggest challenge, is just trying to work around them, because having children, you're already tired. So finding time to edit whilst you're tired.
Yeah.
Trying to find time to create content whilst you're tired. You know, that's been the hardest. But I feel like you kind of just get on. You kind of get used to it and just kind of get on with it.
No, I can imagine. And we couldn't tell anyway from the outside looking in how hard it is. But I can imagine it is pretty hard.
It's hard.
And so then give some advice and words to mums listening, or not even mums, but anyone listening in right now that wants to enter the space of influencing or creating content online. Any advice in terms of best way to get started that you would recommend?
I think the first thing I would say is just to do it, because I think a lot of the time, a lot of people that I speak to, they've been wanting to do it for a long time. And when you kind of ask how long you've wanted, it's been a long time that they've been wanting to do it. So I think the first thing is just to start with the phone that you have and just get some ring lights or just get some lights from Amazon and just start like that. You don't need a mic to start with. You don't need, but even now you can get. You see, now is the best time to start, because the props, the tools and things that are out there on TikTok Shop, the prices are affordable. You got those little mics for like a couple of pounds, and you know you can really. It's a lot easier to start it now. So I would just say, go for it. Share the content you want to share. You know, and I say that specifically to say that, for example, I'll use example for myself. TikTok now, I'm kind of not really feeling it as much. And I just think that platform isn't just not really for me, because a lot of content creators that I love on there are the ones that sit there and talk. You know, they're just talking to the camera. They're doing their makeup, they're just talking, or they're just talking about, oh, I was thinking about this, and I'm not that kind of, like, I'll talk it for maybe one story or like quick here and there, but I love those kind of videos. People really talk, or they talk about a subject they're really passionate. That's not my kind of content. So I'm not going to try and do that, because it's just not me. So you've got to share the content that you want to share, you feel comfortable with. If you're shy, you're not used to it, or you feel a little bit nervous, start by recording yourself and editing for yourself and looking back and seeing, you know, what you can improve, and you'll notice that you'll get more confident. Share it with people that are around you, with your close friends, and see what they think. And just starting. And the last tip I would say, as much as you can, just make sure it looks like clean, good content. That's clickable, that if you would see it, would you like it? If you was to come across that, would you double tap it, or would you save it? So always think, is this content that I would like myself? If it is, then yeah, you're...
But I guess that's a hard thing to determine, right? Because you might think that it's
True.
good, but it's
you know what,
as good as you think it is.
But then I also think with that deep down, you know, the content's good or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I know what you mean, because you don't know if people like, and then you can also like you said, you don't know, so you put things out there and see what people like, because there are so many kind of videos that I will do, and I notice that people prefer this kind of content rather than this. Like, a lot of people like James in there, but I don't want to always be about James, but James will pop up here and there, and also because he's got his own job and he's busy. But now that I know that people like that, I will try and find some more time here and there to bring him in. So knowing what people engage with, or things, some day in the lives, or fashion things, I know that people like this, so this is what I'm going to share as well. But you only realise it after you put it out.
That's the thing, So the main thing to take away is to start. You have to start with something.
Start and put it out, and just don't look at anyone else. Just don't look at anyone else. Don't look at the numbers. Don't think about the money. At first, just share what you enjoy sharing, and...
But that's a hard one as well, isn't it? It's the embarrassment at the beginning when nobody's really interested in what you're doing, still putting yourself out there when you're not getting the notoriety that you think your content deserves.
You know, it's so funny, because I actually feel like the only people that feel the embarrassment is the person themselves, because I'm telling you, no one else is thinking that. Like, no one else is thinking that. Who else is thinking, oh, you've only got... Unless you got that secret hater, I don't know. But I don't know. But genuinely, overall, no one is thinking that. So I think sometimes it is hard, because you do always think, you know, you have so many voices, and some of the thoughts are so not true, and those things can really impede you. But you know, within your platform, whether it's small or whatever size it is, what you like to share, what people are enjoying so far, what they're not enjoying, and you kind of work with that. And the last thing I will say, actually, ChatGPT is really helpful. So you can put in prompts in there, you know, can you share ideas for me? I share motherhood, I share fashion, I share this. How can you help me think of ideas? They will even give you scripts. They will give you tips, like even share a morning in your life, or what you cooked for quick 5-minute meals. you can get ideas from there as well. So if you're not sure about ideas, maybe that could sometimes stop people because they're not sure what to share. Just put it in ChatGPT. Can you give me 5 video suggestions I could share, or videos that I could share this month for the month of this? What can I share? They'll even throw in, is this day like it's a special day, or like siblings day or something. You could share, you know, things that you wouldn't even realize. So sometimes if you're stuck, just go and ChatGPT. AI nowadays is really helpful.
It's
as
amazing.
well.
Yeah. ChatGPT.
So let's use that.
That is my VA.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
it's so good.
So no, that is good. And thank you so much for sharing. And just before you go then, any final words of advice or encouragement you would give to our listeners wanting to become content creators?
It's never too late to start.
Yeah.
It's never too late to start. And just start and close your eyes. Don't look at anything, anyone, or think about brand partnerships or think about management or anything. Just focus on how you want to come across, what content you want to put out there, and just do your best at it. Give your 100%. Find time, be consistent, and just keep posting. And just let this be your motivation that you'll never know where you'll be. I'm not even where I want to be yet. And I pray in Jesus' name that, you know, I can continue to excel. But you never know where it will bring you. You never know what opportunities. You never know relationships that you can build from there. So just do it. And if you're a mum, you want to find time to, I know it's hard, schedule a day, just one day a week, and you make that your working day. The other days you can spend time with your family. You can be the wife or the mum or the partner that you need to be. Just dedicate time aside for content, because if you don't dedicate that time, you will not be consistent, and therefore your followers will not grow. Your engagement will grow. So just go for it.
Amazing. No, that's such a perfect way to end the show. Thank you so much, Desreen, for coming on. And just before you go then, where can people find you, connect with you, engage with your content?
You can find me on Instagram, Life with Desreen, and also YouTube, Life with Desreen. I'm trying to get back on YouTube as well, posting weekly vlogs there, and TikTok, Life with Desreen.
Amazing.
Everywhere.
No, amazing. No, thank you so much, Desreen. It's been such a good conversation,
thanks for having
and
me,
I can't wait to
I feel
edit
like
it.
there's so much more that we could discuss, but
We definitely need to do a part 2.
Yes,
I feel like I say this to every guest, but there's just so much to talk about just on this topic. So definitely we'll do a part 2. So if you guys want it, let us know in the comment section
let us
below.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you.
Thanks for having me.